There is something the person who hurt you is feeling right now that they would rather die than let you see. Not the version they perform online. Not the one who looks like they already moved on. 3 weeks after you left, smiling in a photo with someone new. The real one. The one quietly coming apart behind a face that still knows exactly how to smile for a camera. You were told they don't break. That narcissists don't feel things the way you do. That they glide to the next person without a scratch and never look back. That belief is the thing that kept you stuck the longest. And it's wrong. They break. They just break in private. In ways engineered so you'd never get the satisfaction of watching it happen. Before we go any deeper, subscribe. What comes next is the part they spend an enormous amount of energy making sure you never find out. Once you can see it, you can't unsee it. 5 signs, 5 cracks in a structure that was never as solid as it looked from the inside. The 5th one is the one almost nobody catches because it doesn't look like falling apart at all. It looks like winning. We'll get there. 1. The sudden reach. It starts with a message you didn't expect, the 2 a.m. text, the saw this and thought of you, the fake casual check-in dressed up as maturity, hey, no agenda, just hope you're doing okay. Here's what that actually is. When you left, you didn't just take yourself. You took a job you never applied for. The person who absorbed their moods, reflected them back at their best, and kept their inner world from going quiet. Psychologists call what you provided narcissistic supply, the steady stream of attention and reaction they use to regulate a self that can't regulate on its own. Withdraw it, and what's left is a silence. They have no tools to sit inside, so they reach. Not because they miss you, because they miss what you did to the noise in their head. The cruelty is in the timing. They always come back the moment you've finally started to feel okay. 2. The audience hunt. Then they get loud. Suddenly they're everywhere. A new partner paraded fast and posted often, a life curated specifically for you to stumble across, the captions about peace. The photos of how happy they are now. Watch the volume, not the content. A person who has actually moved on doesn't need a witness. The performance isn't aimed at the new face on their arm. It's aimed at you. And underneath that, at themselves. Because the only way to outrun the feeling of collapse is to find a fresh audience before the old one realizes the show was always empty. The louder they announce the new life, the harder they're working to convince the one person who isn't clapping anymore, themselves. 3. The story where you're the villain. This one will hurt because you'll hear about it secondhand. A mutual friend goes quiet. Someone you trusted starts treating you like you did something. Slowly you realize a story has been told about you. One where you were the cold one, the unstable one, the one who broke it. They got there first, and they were convincing. Heinz Kohut described what happens when a fragile, grandiose self is faced with proof of its own failure. He called it narcissistic injury, and it is unbearable to the person carrying it. They cannot hold a version of events where they were the one who failed. So they rebuild the story from the ground up, and they need you cast as the wound. Because the only alternative is admitting the wound is theirs. The smear isn't strength. It's a person rewriting reality in real time because the real version is more than they can survive. 4. The rage that leaks out the side. You expect a narcissist to be calm, controlled. That mask is the whole act. So the tell isn't the calm. It's the moment the calm slips over something that doesn't deserve it. A scorched earth fight over who keeps a piece of furniture. A message sent through three other people because they couldn't stand not having the last word. Pettiness so wildly out of proportion to the thing it's attached to that it stops making sense until you understand what it's actually about. The mask takes energy to hold. A self that's collapsing can't spare the energy anymore, so it leaks out the side, in flashes, over things that were never the real problem. The real problem is that the structure is failing, and they have no idea how to feel that without aiming it at someone. Every disproportionate reaction is a pressure reading. The bigger the leak, the worse the thing it's holding back. Now here's the part that reframes all four. You'd think the worst collapse is the loud one. The rage, the smear, the desperate reach. It isn't. Those are the cracks you can see. And a person whose cracks show still has something underneath that's trying to be felt. The deepest collapse is the one that seals over completely, where the performance gets so total, there's no longer any gap between the mask and the face. Kohut's whole point was that the grandiose self isn't strong. It's a defense built over a self that was never allowed to exist. In a defense that finally becomes airtight, doesn't protect a person anymore. It buries them alive. Which brings us to the fifth sign, the one that looks like winning. 5. The quiet that looks like peace. Sometimes there's no reach, no smear, no leaked rage. They simply go quiet, build something that photographs beautifully, and seem, by every external measure, completely fine. And you'll torture yourself with it. They moved on, and I'm still here. They won. They didn't win. Look closer at what fine actually costs. To never reach, never crack, never let the mask slip, even in private, a person has to seal the real self away so completely that they lose access to it themselves. No accountability, because accountability would mean feeling the failure. No repair, because repair would mean admitting there was damage. They are not at peace. They are alone inside a performance that can never be switched off, with no one left who knew the person underneath, because they've forgotten him too. That isn't moving on. That's a life sentence inside a self that can never break and therefore can never heal. So here's what all 5 signs are really telling you. The person who hurt you isn't falling apart because you left. They were already falling apart the entire time. Behind the confidence, under the charm. You were the scaffolding holding a collapsing structure upright, and the day you walked out, only one thing actually changed. There was no one left to blame for the cracks. They didn't lose you. They lost the last person willing to stand inside the building and pretend it was sound. So if you've been refreshing their profile, looking for proof that they're suffering, you can stop. The collapse was always private, and watching it was never the thing that would free you. What frees you is that you get to fall apart out loud in front of people who stay and actually rebuild. They never will. You didn't lose. You got out of the building before it came down. Which of these 5 did you watch happen in real time? Drop the number below. And if you know someone still refreshing that profile at 2 a.m., send them this. It's the thing they need to hear tonight.